Very well. This morning, let me just simply ask you, have you heard of the word consistency and perseverance? Those two words, right? For me personally, they are the two words that get you results.
Yes.
You will have to be consistent at whatever it is that you're doing, especially so if you have your eyes on something. And then you will have to persevere. Persevere because, listen, it's not going to be a walk in the park. Whatever it is that you set out to do, you will have challenges. You will have difficulties. Sometimes you will feel like, I really don't want to do this, or I'm tired. You will have those. But for as long as you have your eyes on the goal, you will have to be consistent and you will have to persevere. You will have to push through. Only then will you see results. And so you do it today, you don't do it tomorrow, you try it somehow, you're like a daisical at it, you don't give it your all. Trust me, you will be looking at the results, you will be looking at the end game. It will look very beautiful, but you just may never get there. So persevere and be consistent at whatever it is that you set out to do. That's my lot for you this morning. And one more time, you're welcome here to Home Affairs. My name is Edem Knight Tay, and it's always a pleasure sharing family lessons with you. It helps me. I love it. I thrive on it, and I hope it helps you the same way. If you have been following us, I think for about 3 weeks back to back again, we had the conversation on your marriage and the law, and it was so revealing that marriage, you will have to be in love with the person, you do all the things around it, but we do forget that it is also hinged on legalities, and those are what we looked at over the past 3 weeks. I hope that you picked some lessons from them. Some sound very interesting, but hey, at that point in time when the law will have to speak in your marriage, all of those things will come to play. So it's important that while you know that it's a covenant, if you have, not so straight intentions about the marriage as well, then do know that there are laws that will be applied when the time comes. We've switched it. And today we're looking at your home and money, cash again, and we know that it's been one of the reasons people have challenges in their homes. There are marriages that have broken down because people cannot just have understanding when it comes to marriage. It's either, and it comes in various ways, right? Somebody doesn't want to disclose their salaries. Somebody wants to invest in something that the other person is not too happy about. Somebody feels like, listen, this is my money. I work for it. I was earning this money before we even got married. How is it that all of a sudden you want to tell me how to use my money? And it becomes an issue. Another person feels like, I am doing too much. This is a relationship. It's a covenant. We are supposed to be doing this together. How is it that people are still locked up in, traditional roles, that it is the man's responsibility to take care of every single thing, including buying salt in the home? You have the situation where in some homes, the woman is earning more. And so a lot more is expected of her, and she might think that that is not what it is. Look, we can give 1,000,001 scenarios and we won't end it when we're talking about money and how it plays in your home. Even the issue about must we keep a joint account or not is a problem. Must we keep an account for the children? It's a problem. Insurance policies, it's a problem. Everything money, wahala. And people have lost their homes because of it. Because somebody is angry about money, in the night they put on a pair of pants like I have put on, and then there is no relationship. Because somebody is upset about money, another person calls and they won't pick. And then you might think that these are very little things, but before you realize, they grow to become very big things, and then you're losing your home. So this morning, we want to have a general conversation around it. Is there, I'm asking again, is there or are there best practices in marriage when it comes to money and the home? We won't leave out people who are planning to get married now. What should the considerations be? I do not know how much time my guests have. If we're unable to conclude today, I will find out if we can continue, next week or some other time. So please pull a seat, get close to your partner. If they are not around you, call them. We're live on Facebook, so they can watch us on Facebook as well. We're on Joy Prime. You can't miss it. On YouTube, we're there at Joy997. And so join us. Let's have this conversation. And let me also tell you that our Better Malls promotion is still ongoing. So let me give you the scenario for what we are doing today. Listen to me carefully. So you have 2 children going on a school excursion. That requires you to provide snacks for them for the trip. Now you have 100 cedis. That's your budget, 100. How many bottles of Better Malls will you buy for them? And what are some other essentials you will be getting for them to go on this trip? So 100 cedis, 2 children going on excursion. How many bottles of Better Malls would you get for them? Think about the fact that they are going to be going away the whole day. Maybe they are leaving around 7 a.m. and they are back after 6 p.m. And then what more would you be getting? So please send your list to us via WhatsApp. We will be reading the list out, and then my guest in the studio will help to look at the person who budgeted very well, 2 people, and then we will reward you with loads and loads of packs of Better Malt. But let me turn to my guest, Reverend Ogwamitete. It's been so long.
Yes, Adam, I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have you here as well. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Great. So, Reverend Ogwamitete is an investment banker, a pastor, and a counselor. And when I have them like this, it's nice because they wear all the hats. They're giving you the financial advice, the spiritual advice, and then the moral one too. So we're so sorted and covered. Good to have you.
Sure, I'm happy to be here too.
Beautiful. And then I have my own big sis, Nicolina Adumwa. Nicolina,
please.
she too,
Please.
She's an insurance marketer. So so many issues are there as well. She is a parent. She loves family life. So call Nicolina at 1 a.m. Just so near Accra. For as long as it has to do with impacting into the family and helping somebody's home get better. She's so too passionate at it. Sometimes, Nicolina, we are sorry. Sometimes we feel like we abuse that because of your passion. Forgive us, okay? Forgive us. So we have the right people here, and we are having this conversation right now. Home Affairs is brought to us by the Korba Payments app. Korba, our life simplified. Onga, Mama's Helping Hand. Kel Kids Toothpaste for children between 2 and 6 years. A product from Samara Company Limited. Kel Kids Happy Smile. Amasha Partners Limited, your one-stop optical solution provider. Fortune Rise, always on point, just like Mom. CL Immigration, your Canadian immigration partner in Ghana. And Better Malls, because like mommy, like me. Remember today, you have 2 children going on excursion, 100 cedis budget. How many bottles of Better Malls are you getting for them? Let's say that they're leaving at 7 and they're coming back after 6. And then what more would you get with 100 cedis? Send that list to us right now on 055 1111997. Just hashtag it Better Malls so that we are able to find it. And then we will look at the list and see who did a good job at packing snacks for their kids to go on that excursion. And Better Malt will reward you. Great. Now, into the conversation. Let me start with you, Reverend. I asked a simple question. Are there best practices when it comes to handling money in the home? Is there anything like that?
Well, Adam, let me start this way. I want to just comment on your introduction. So a few years back, I came up with a concept I called the central marriage system.
Okay.
And I was trying to draw from an analogy from the central nervous system.
Okay.
Because when you have a problem, a human being, when you have a problem with your central nervous system, then you are gone.
Yes.
Okay. So when I talk about central marriage system, I'm using the C and then the M and then the S to talk about three elements that are central to marriage. So that's communication, money, and then sex.
Okay.
So if you have a problem with any of these three, you have a
Wahala
problem.
for you.
Yes, yes. And money is at the center.
Yay. Communication, money, and sex.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
If you get it right, of course there are other things, but these are three fundamental things. And if you listen to a lot of issues that come in marriage, it's borders on one of these three. That's why I call it the central marriage system. But to your question, are there some best practices when it comes to money matters for the individual and for the family? I would say yes. There are some basic things that you must do. So, for instance, I would say that when it comes to money matters, there has to be the element of planning. Okay, that is key. If you don't plan your finances, it will be all over the place. You could get into all kinds of difficult situations. So there definitely are some best practices. Planning has to be one of them. And in the family setting, it's important, for the couple to work at that. Of course, the other issues, and I think you even touched on them, issues of joint account and all of that. I tend to say that I hesitate to prescribe because, in my view...
to prescribe what exactly?
So, for instance, like a joint account. Okay, I would say that if it works for the two of you, that's fine. Because we have situations where it works, we have situations where it doesn't work. So it's really about the two individuals and basically coming to an agreement, because when it comes to marriage, you have to recognize that people are coming from different backgrounds and all of that. And it's important for there to be some agreement on how you will handle a number of things, including money. Okay, so if the joint account works for you, there are good reasons why someone may want to consider that, and there are also good reasons why a couple may decide that, well, let's operate from a point of understanding, agreement, that you do this, I'll do this, and so on and so forth. So really, we can talk about some general best practices. But I would say that when it comes, I know some people are very strong on, some things like you have to have a joint account. I would not say so. I would say, well, if it works for you, go for it. But the key point, planning, and in the case of marriage, I also talk about transparency. Transparency is very important when it comes to managing money. When it's just you, of course, it's okay. But once you are in a covenant relationship with someone, there has to be that transparency. And at the end of the day, what do you want to achieve together as a couple? That's where the planning comes in. But planning, transparency, I would say, are fundamental when it comes to money matters.
Before I come to Nicolina, I'd like to. I love the idea of the planning. I think it's just the basics. But what should go into this planning? What should you be looking at when you're planning for your finances? Especially so when you are now planning to get married. That's where it starts from. What should go into the planning?
Well, I would say that, the planning should cover the two major planks when it comes to money. Okay. How you get it and how you spend it. So one, you must understand how you are earning money as a couple. And I recommend that, especially before you enter into marriage, at least one of you must have a regular source of income. I know there are some people who would step up and say, "Oh, by faith," and that
will cross it.
and when you get there, it becomes, something else, because all those feelings of, when I see you, it will just evaporate, because money is central, and if it's not there, it becomes a challenge. So I would say that two main areas: how are we getting income inflows, and then how do we manage the outflows? Now, when it comes to inflows, typically we don't have a lot of sources. In other words, not many people would have multiple income sources. So the income side, if you like, is not too difficult to plan. But what I would say is that the two of you must focus on what immediate sources you have and what potential sources you can exploit in terms of attracting more inflows, because the more money you have, the better, when it comes to, managing the affairs of life. So look at your current earnings capacity. What other things can we do to increase the inflows? The concept of multiple income streams. What can I do with my, maybe something that is what do you call it, a hobby that you can monetize in a sense, etc., etc. So look at your inflows. But where there is a big issue, and many people trip, is when it comes to the outflows. And before you get into marriage, it would be good to have discussions on how the outflows, because again, people are different. Maybe before you got married, you have a certain taste when it comes to shopping, where you shop, how you mark some anniversaries. For some people, they have to go. So, but it would be useful to have a conversation, before, so that there are no surprises when you get into marriage. Have a conversation about, how we expect, even where your children will go to school. You get somebody who say, "I want my kids to go to this type of school." Meanwhile, if the ability, yes, then it becomes, maybe they're looking at other mates or colleagues whose children are going, So it's important to have that conversation before you get into marriage. When you're in marriage too, it's even more imperative or important for you to have a very clear conversation, because there'll be things like what you do for, let's say, your parents or your family members, and how much of the budget, the family budget or the family income goes, So there has to be that conversation when it comes to even, if you may, supporting church projects, there has to be a conversation. Maybe the woman has more faith than the man. When it comes to giving sacrificially, so but having a conversation is important, and then you come to some kind of agreement on how you are going to proceed, so that, again, there'll be no surprises. So that's what I can say about the issue of planning.
And the transparency.
Well, so the transparency, and this is where, sometimes there are shocks, because people hide things, they accumulate assets. We've heard of all kinds of stories, both sides, the husband and sometimes the wife not having full disclosure. What I would encourage, if I come from the biblical standpoint, we read in Genesis how Adam and Eve were naked, and there was no shame. I believe one lesson we can take from that is being transparent, not hiding, anything in that matter. I know there are guys who will say, "Hey, if I let my wife know how much I'm earning, then the request will double and triple and so on and so forth." But I think that, marriage, one of the key things in a married relationship is trust. So you should be able to trust your partner. If you can't trust your partner, then I don't know what you're doing in that.
Why did you even marry them in the first place?
Yes, in that relationship. So there has to be that transparency, and I think that sometimes for the women, when they even know, it can, if like, make them more measured in what they request or what they ask for, because they may assume that, hey, you have a big title, you are wearing some suits, so you must have a lot of money. But when you make it clear to her how much you are earning, then she would realize that, oh, it's not like you are sitting on some gold, and it can be more measured. So transparency, I think, is good, and I believe that the couple must agree that let's be transparent when it comes to how much we earn and where we or how we spend the money that we earn.
Great. If you're just joining us, this is Home Affairs. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM, also on Joy Prime Television. We're also live on our social media handles at Joy997. So you don't have to miss this conversation in any way. We're talking about your home and money, or money and your home, whichever way you choose to put it. I've just been asking that, are there best practices when it comes to handling finances in the home? Because it takes various forms and shapes, and then it disturbs the peace in our homes. Sometimes, like, some very harmless, oh, can I get 200 CDs? And then it becomes like a whole new chapter, and a lecture. And you wonder why, if, especially so, and Nicolina, I'll be coming to you in a bit, when we are so much in love, and then the relationship don't laugh. It's not like anybody forced us into the marriage. You see, we saw each other, we went out, we dated, and we are in love. Now, why should money then become something?
It's a major thing.
Yeah, but so far we have talked about, Reverend Daniel Guamitete has told us about planning, which is, when I asked about the best practices, that was the first thing. It's important to plan. And then I went on to ask, what should go into this planning? 2 things should go into the planning. I think those are very basic. How you earn the money, and then how you spend it. And so he talked about the fact that the two of you will have to be very transparent. By the time you're getting into this relationship, we're discussing that, listen, and be transparent. Transparency means transparent. Full disclosure. I'm coming into this marriage, I earn X amount, and then I probably have 1 or 2 side jobs that by the time you're finished taking out your cost and everything, this is how much is left. So you have fully disclosed it. The other person also comes in. So we know that, okay, getting into this marriage, at the end of the month, because we have fully disclosed everything, we have 100 CDs that we have to use to spend. That is yours and mine. And then now you plan on how you want to spend it. I want to believe that, I think like this, we should be ending the conversation. Like, if we agree that this marriage we are going into, we love each other so much, and it's not like I have come here to come and amass wealth from you or anything, then if we agree on these basics, we should close. But I'm coming to you, Nicolina. Why is this such an issue? Why is it such an issue? If we all understand these basics, why is it such an issue that money can cause such a rift in homes and disturb the peace? I'll come to you in a minute. Before we hear Nicolina, just like moms know what to do in every situation, you can trust any of the Fortune rice brands for all your rice meals for every occasion. It needs just a little water. Remember, a little water, because the grains don't stick together, and the aroma and taste, delicious. So if you're thinking of cooking jollof rice, fried rice, rice balls, and any other rice dish you can think about, just choose Fortune. We have Fortune Classic. It's green. The Delight comes in the orange pack, and then the red pack is for the Fortune Delicious. Get yours now and you won't regret it. We have it, Fortune rice, always on point, just like mom. And with CL Immigration Services, you can go to Canada with confidence. Their competent and friendly approach provides the support you need to make the right decision for your family. Whether you want to immigrate, study, or visit, CL Immigration can help you discover everything you need to know about your journey to Canada. CIEL Immigration Services are regulated Canadian immigration consultants here in Ghana to answer all your questions. You can call them on 0241 318 890. Also on 0550 055 888, or email welcome@climmigration.com. On all our social media platforms, CL Immigration. Contact them today for your consultation. CL Immigration Services, your Canadian immigration partner in Ghana. And do you know about the new delicious? If you have been following Home Affairs, then you should know. Yes, Ungalicious is the new delicious. Create those amazing moments with your favorite Onga seasoning, no matter your cooking experience. Onga is a delight to make great tasting meals in every home. Onga is convenient to use and brings out that taste and aroma in your meals. Let's toast to the new Onga chicken tablet with superior taste and comforting aroma for all your chicken meals. Mama's helping hand. Onga, proudly Ghanaian. Connect with the team at Onga on Facebook and Instagram at Onga Ghana. Nicolina.
Yes, Adam. Good morning, and
morning.
Congratulations to Joy and your team.
Yeah.
You
I was
made
going
us
to do that grand announcement after, but yes, we receive it.
Yeah, Adam, it's a big issue when it comes to money. As an individual in your life, you progress, right? You enter into a relationship and into marriage, you progress as well. So you might have done some planning, which you should do, as Reverend said. You're in the marriage, you progress. Sometimes even your career that you need to spend on is something that should come to the table. Where you want to live, where your children should be, should come to the table for discussion. So you might do immediate planning, maybe a 3-year plan, a long-term plan for the relationship and the marriage you see you love yourself and you are into, because things will evolve and you need to do so. Change is constant. Now it becomes a problem where these things are coming to play, and all of a sudden we are thinking, why should I give you money to go and further your education? Forgetting that as we are in the relationship, if I progress, you do so. And if you want to further and I could help to support for you to progress career-wise,
Why shouldn't I?
Exactly. So the understanding of each other as we progress in the relationship. Look, even your personal self, you want to buy that shoe, but you have fees to pay, to develop yourself. And I believe in personal and people development. So I'm asking, you need to come to the table every now and then with discussions and planning. It becomes very difficult when one wants to be selfish at a point in time and you feel that, okay, I'm working for it. So if I say I'm going to school, what is your beef about this? And if I can support as I am doing, why should you complain? It shouldn't be so. So as we plan and we progress, children will come in. The needs of the children, who takes care of it? Is it the woman or the man? The school fees, who pays? If there's proper planning and we agree on what we want to do and we are transparent enough on what we want to do, Adam, if I want to surprise you as a friend, should I go asking my partner for money to come and surprise my friend?
Should you?
You should not. Even surprising your partner as in a relationship, you want to you see something you want to buy, but your monies are tight, so there should be that flexibility also, I would say. Yes, I'm working. Yes, we come to the table. And that is why sometimes people will say, okay, then the joint account will be important for bigger projects. For instance, we want to build. Okay, so people will say, okay, let's put some money aside in the next 5 years. We want to build a home. Because the children are going to come in and going to be growing. You can't continue to be in that 2-bedroom. And so you plan, and then, so it's immediate planning. Maybe you have a 3 years plan, and then you have a 5 years plan, a 10-year plan. Because down the line too, you'll be coming on retirement. The children will be leaving you. What are you doing? So it's a whole chain of planning you need to do and understanding that you need to come to and establish from the very beginning of the relationship is very, very critical. Now, you might say that, okay, I'm alone. But one thing that I've learned to do early with my kids is to teach them also how to plan their money, because money is very important. I have 2 kids. I saw one, when you ask him to save, he doesn't like it. But you need to teach them, because these are the things we don't get, and we go into relationship and marriage with any disturbs. So what I do with them is that I give you money. I tell them, every money I give you, every money you get, there's a seed aspect and there's a fruit aspect. You eat the fruit, and the seed, you plant it. So anytime you're going to school, your money is intact, but then you need to save something and bring home to me to see. We go and put it in an account. So you see, from that beginning, you're teaching them something to cultivate, how to handle and manage themselves. We don't manage ourselves when it comes to money. Everything, a yen to mabia will go and buy. Everything that costs, we are there. We need to do, and if you have done proper planning, you know that you don't spend unnecessarily. Now, giving is a part of us as human beings, as creatures of God, and all that. You will give to your family, you will give to in-laws, you will give to friends, you will give to church, like Reverend said. There could be a partner who don't even believe in tithing. So you, the woman, will be doing all the tithing. But then when it comes to home, Adam, who buys the Dettol for home? Who buy the napkins for home? Who buy the toothpick? We don't think about these things. So all these things must be situated very well in the planning of the home. Then there are the bigger issues as well, like the school. So all these things, if they are not situated well, that is where the challenge and the problem comes, and we will never understand. So little things, that 200 cedis you ask, probably you say, oh, this weekend I want to spend some time, okay, with my friends. And so, but why should you be demanding every time? What do you bring on the table? And I call for women. First of all, let me say that you need to be independent before you go into the relationship and marriage. So you would have planned your life and all these things. And as you progress and marriage comes in, you transit as such. Now, the